All right, we are at Oxford Gle in Sachse, Texas, and there is going to be a World War I exhibit starting tomorrow, Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning, and will run until about 8 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock. And this is a gentleman that has set this up and runs it around the country, and I would like for you to meet him. What is your name, sir?
I'm Keith Colley, and I'm the curator. Caregiver is what I really like to say, because I believe that this belongs to America, and I'm just caring for it and taking it around so people around the country can pay their respects to a war that's completely been forgotten. And it's not because we don't care, it's just because time. 100 years is a long time. So to give it the respect that it is due, we're taking the museum around the country so that people can actually have the opportunity to see what took place in the most horrific war of all time. And so many millions of people died in this war. We lost an entire generation. So we're going to take the opportunity of the 100th anniversary to remind people of that sacrifice. And we have hundreds of artifacts, detailed banners, signage where you feel like you've walked into the war, and when you leave you have a better understanding of what took place firsthand with a lot of the original. Well, everything is authentic in the museum, including we've got two soldiers that we're spotlighting. One we call Pappy, and Mr. Stevens was a runner in the war, and he not only was just a hero, but he was a hero to his family. And he was one of the few that survived being a runner in the war. They would have to come up out of the trenches and deliver messages, and it was a very, very high-risk job. So they were very grateful that he made it back and are very proud. And so we're proud to have all of his belongings from the war, including his uniform. He was a very tiny man. He only had a 24-inch waist and was 5'1". And we also have another gentleman that was a train conductor, Ernest Laux. And what was interesting in this war, all the young guys wanted to go to war, but this gentleman got declined to go to war, and they told him he was too old. So he went home, changed his clothes, came back and lied and said he was younger. And he actually ended up going over there and being a conductor, and took all of our troops from France into no man's land for the war. So please come and join us. We've got great stuff.
Yeah, here's just a little example of some of the equipment that's not set up yet, just a preview that tomorrow it'll all be set up for our display. There is an organ that was used in the trenches. This is a very interesting story about that. Come and see this. It's going to be very nice tomorrow, Oxford Gle, Thursday, February what would February be, the 7th? I believe it's the 7th. 7th or 8th? 2019. It'll be
tomorrow.
It's coming up close, guys. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're going to lift right here. Okay. Then you come here. You can't use that as a lift. Okay. Then you grab the side. Okay, keep going. Now let me show you what we're going to do here. These little doors come in. You come back down and set it into it.
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Working. Okay, now you're going to play it. Come on. Tell me, just start playing the key. Do you know why they had an organ in World War I? Apparently, excuse me.
That was leaning on me, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, everybody together. No. In this war, the guys were seeing faces melted off. It's the first time they ever used flamethrowers. It was the first time they ever used a machine gun that would wipe out, 400 or 500 people in one swap. Our guys were like devastated by this, and they were starting to lose their faith. They even admitted there can't be a God. There can't be a God that would allow this to happen on our earth. They realized they needed to start having church services, so they did, and they actually started bringing the organ into the field and doing church services, and they called it the trench service. And so I've been looking for one of these for years.
Is it a trench?
Well, this wouldn't be in the trench. They'd come out of the trench and have a service. But I was looking for years for one of these, and a professor came through one of my things, and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in a donation?" I'm like, please, we're not a profit. He meant this. He had it, and I drove to Ranger, Texas, where it had been in storage for 100 years. And of course, when you come through the museum, you you'll hear the whole story, but.
That was
yeah.
early treatment for PTSD, right?
Exactly, it was, of course.
So is this considered an organ? Or
It is an organ. Well, actually, it's an organ. You'll see the real name of it. It's actually not called an organ, but right now I can't think what it's called. Organotic or something like that. Yeah, when the signs go up, it'll tell more about it. But it was an organ, not a piano. Yeah. So this is really cool because the radio, you know, was still pretty new at that point. And this is a 1917 radio, and the top to it is right here. And you guys will be, when you see,
Doesn't work though.
the Wilford Museum. Thank you very much. It sits right in the middle of it. Okay, so I haven't yet quite figured out how to keep it from knocking it over, because this is, you guys are getting it, you're the first ones to get it for the museum, so. Yeah. Anywho, now, and of course, no, the other way. Yeah. That actually would screw down into the ground. And if they didn't screw it, you can hear it being pounded into the ground, the Germans would shoot you. And so, you'll get the whole story when we do it, and so that will go on the other side, just like that.
So, say that again?
Okay, when we got there, we brought stakes, and we would hit it with what happens when you hit steel to steel?
Noise, yeah.
Noise, and then the Germans would just kill you. And so eventually after that, not only that, we had solid rings. Try to pull a solid ring, and if you try to pull barbed wire through that, it just sticks. So everybody had to come out of the trenches and move barbed wire, and then they all got killed. So they invented the stake that could be cranked into the ground so you can't hear it. And the loops are open so everybody at one time in 1 second could place the wire through. Yeah, and they were carried on all the way through World War II.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
So they manually with their
Well, there's a little rod that would do it, and it would just twist the rod, and it would go right down into it.